Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for our discussion on evolving requirements for identity and access management. I'm your host, Steve Brasen, Managing Research Director for Endpoint and Identity Management for Enterprise Management Associates. And I'm joined today, it is my pleasure to be joined today by Angel Grant, Director of Secure ID, Fraud, and Risk Intelligence for RSA. Welcome, Angel. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really glad that you were able to make it, because I'm very excited to talk to you about some of the results we had from our recent research. As you know, we conducted primary survey-based research on the topic of identity and access management to try and get a handle on what's been going on, the evolving and changing requirements and risk profiles for identity and access management. And the results we got back were really astounding. And to start us off, want to talk about one of the research results we got, which really showed how the diverse range of environments that organizations are hosting their software services, their applications, their data, their email, and so forth, that are being accessed by end users in their environments, either customers or employees or patients in healthcare institutions as well. But it's really become a diverse software ecosystem out there, consisting of on-premise services and off-premise services. And in particular, when we ask them where they're actually accessing these resources, it's stunning to learn how much SaaS access is happening out there. The reliance on SaaS. Certainly Microsoft, with the increased adoption of Office 365, is a great example of that. So I'm very curious, from your perspective, what you're seeing at RSA with your customers. Are they being challenged by having these distributed software ecosystems and enabling access to all these different resources? And in particular, are they having challenges with accessing SaaS resources? And what are the solutions that RSA is providing to help support that?
Yes, we're definitely seeing this issue emerge with our customers, where they're struggling to address managing such a hybrid environment of those on-prem cloud SaaS applications. And each one of those applications have their own unique profiles and workflows and identity pools, and they're really struggling with that. So at RSA, we're addressing that by focusing on two primary dimensions to simplify the process, especially since as all this information and identities are being moved outside the traditional boundaries of the corporate network. It's no longer at the corporate headquarters. All these applications are everywhere. Identity has really become the new boundary for that borderless network, as well as the #1 attack vector, as we've seen over this past year. So with the two dimensions we're focusing on to help address that, first is for access assurance, and the second is on identity assurance. Mm-hmm. So access assurance, what do you have access to, and how did you get it? And identity assurance is, at the time of access, are you who you say you are, or is this a compromised event? So on the access assurance front, RSA's identity governance and lifecycle addresses this by providing visibility into who does have access to what, and helps discover that, so you have the right level of governance of knowing who has access to what, visibility into what they're doing, and then also help automate the process for access requests, such as the joiner, mover, leaver type of activities. And on the identity assurance front, we've addressed this at RSA by taking a strategy where, knowing our customers are struggling with having a variety of different islands of identities all over the place, to try to balance that. And we're addressing this by partnering with hundreds of technology partners to provide a broad set of out-of-the-box implementation options for strong authentication through our Secure ID access solution.
Yeah, and that really resonates with me, and certainly with the research results that we just got, particularly this idea of taking it out of control of the enterprise, and bringing it into the more personal space of the end users. Certainly, you would get just 10 years ago, right? I mean, cloud was not huge 10 years ago. We were still doing very much, everything was on-premise in the environment, and enabling access was comparatively simple to the way it is today. So this is about not only about the management of the environments, it's also about enabling those user experiences, right? So that those users can more easily access these resources that they need to do their job or to access things provided by the business if they're customers. So actually, on this same note of talking about taking the control to the access outside of the business, another area we're seeing is from the endpoints that are being used to access these resources. Not only is the applications, data, and services being hosted on public environments now, but we're also seeing application, data, and services being accessed from devices that are not on-premise with the business. And that's, a lot of that has to do with this proliferation of multi-devices. So smartphones, tablets, PCs, and laptops, and BYOD being a part of that, distributing the endpoint devices across internal and external access. So again, I'd be very curious to hear what you're seeing from your customers in relation to multi-device access to business resources. And again, what is RSA doing to help them with that?
So yes, RSA is definitely seeing that with our customers, where reality in today's business is organizations need to be able to support a multi-device environment, regardless of the risk associated with it. It's just the way people are doing business these days. And because of that, they're realizing their legacy identity access management strategies just simply aren't working. They need to revisit that. And many of them are pausing, taking a step back, saying, what can I do today that will carry me into the future to be able to best support our diverse user population that can support anything from anywhere at any time on any type of device? And RSA is addressing that by really leveraging our legacy of over 30 years of pioneering the authentication and identity access management market. And we've taken the knowledge from engaging with thousands of customers to once again pioneer the industry to create a simple yet secure access solution to address this multi-device world. Now, the way that we're addressing that is within RSA Security Access. We've designed a solution that will help our customers provide a frictionless, risk-aware, and continuous type of authentication strategy. And it's important to take a risk-based approach because not only will that allow to minimize the friction and allow for more of a convenient experience, it also helps with the level of security that's with that secure access solution. And that way the user is only interrupted as needed if they're accessing a sensitive resource or from a device that's not recognized. And if they are accessing a resource and additional authentication is needed, we're provided a variety of different authentication solutions that will help simplify that process by letting the users use the device that they're on with something that's simple, familiar, convenient to them. And a couple examples of authentication methods for that would be things like RSA Security token. It could be things like one-time passcode or biometrics like face or finger, as well as support for FIDO Alliance. And the benefit of having all those together, once again, is to allow from that frictionless, convenient, yet secure experience for the user in a multi-device environment where that's a reality how people need to do business despite the risk associated with it.
Yeah, I have to say I'm really impressed by the attention to user requirements that RSA provides, using words like frictionless and certainly ease of use. It applies to both the management side and to the end user side. From the management side, you see so many solutions on the market that are layers of complexity. And as you add new layers of security, that's more complexity in terms of managing the environment. And then for the end users, the more hoops they have to jump through to actually complete job tasks for employees or to access services that they're paying for customers, it increases the friction or the challenges of them needing to perform their tasks. So while the focus tends to be, when we talk about identity and access management, the focus tends to be on security, it's just as important to understand the user requirements as well. And I'm very impressed with RSA's approach to providing improved user experiences as well.
Yeah, and that definitely was an important part of our strategy, because based on our engagement with our customers and their user base, we know that most users don't want to be burdened by security. It wants to be part of their day-to-day life. They just want to do their work, or they just want to engage with their partners. So security can't be a barrier. It needs to be an enabler in a business environment. And that's the strategy we took to try to ensure that it's simple, yet secure access for the environment.
Outstanding. That's all wonderful to hear. And I certainly look forward to continuing to follow RSA, as IAM requirements continue to evolve, and look forward to speaking to you again on discussions related to identity and access management and our recently published research results. Thank you very much for being here, Angel. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.